Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most tragic and shocking aviation disasters in recent memory. A Jeju air flight arriving in South Korea from Bangkok ended in catastrophe, leaving nearly 180 people dead and only 2 survivors. This heartbreaking incident has shaken South Korea and the global aviation community. In today's video, we'll explore what happened, how the survivors made it out alive, the potential causes of the crash, and the broader implications for air travel safety. Buckle up, because this is a story that's as tragic as it is important to understand. Let's start with the basics of the incident. The Jeju air flight was a Boeing 737-800 carrying 181 passengers and crew, returning from a holiday trip in Bangkok. The flight appeared routine until it approached Muan International Airport in South Korea. But during the landing, tragedy struck. The aircraft skidded off the runway and crashed into a wall, bursting into flames almost instantly. Emergency services rushed to the scene and worked tirelessly through the night to search for survivors and recover the remains of the deceased. The blaze was so intense that most of the plane was completely destroyed, leaving only the tail section somewhat intact. Out of the 181 people on board, only 2 survived. Both survivors were crew members seated at the very back of the aircraft. They were pulled from the tail section and rushed to hospitals in Seoul. Their injuries were severe but not life-threatening. Meanwhile, the remaining 179 people, including families, children, and vacationers, tragically lost their lives. The survival of these 2 crew members is nothing short of miraculous. Reports indicate that they were seated in the tail section of the plane, which remained relatively intact despite the fiery crash. The rest of the aircraft was consumed by flames or destroyed upon impact. Emergency responders were able to extract the 2 crew members and transport them to top-tier hospitals in Seoul. One is currently being treated at Asan Hospital, while the other is at Iyuha University Hospital. Their identities haven't been released, but we know they are in their 20s. Investigators are eager to hear their accounts of what happened, as their testimonies could provide crucial insights into the final moments of the flight. The emotional toll of this tragedy is overwhelming. Many of the passengers on board were families returning from a Christmas vacation in Thailand. The joy of the holiday season has now turned into a nightmare for dozens of families. At Muan International Airport, over 100 family members gathered in a designated area to receive updates. The room was filled with wails of grief as officials confirmed the deaths of loved ones. For some, the news was too much to bear. One elderly couple lost their son, daughter-in-law, and grandchild in the crash. Another woman reportedly fainted after learning that her 2 children had perished. The South Korean government has stepped in to assist these grieving families. Officials have promised financial and logistical support, including help with funeral arrangements and transportation. The area around the crash site has been declared a special disaster zone, which means additional resources will be allocated to assist those affected. As with any aviation disaster, the big question is what caused this tragedy? Investigators have already recovered the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, commonly known as the black boxes. These devices will be critical in piecing together the events leading up to the crash. Preliminary reports suggest that a bird strike may have played a significant role. Just before the first landing attempt, the plane reportedly encountered a flock of birds, which may have damaged its engines. This forced the pilots to abort the initial landing and attempt to go around. However, during the second attempt, the landing gear wasn't extended, which proved disastrous. Without landing gear, the plane skidded across the runway at high speed, unable to brake effectively. It overshot the runway, crashed into a barrier, and burst into flames. Experts believe that the combination of engine damage and the failure to deploy the landing gear created a perfect storm that led to the crash. To understand the technical aspects of this disaster, let's turn to the insights of aviation experts. One critical factor being examined is the bird strike. When birds collide with an aircraft, they can cause severe damage to engines, wings, and other vital systems. In this case, the bird strike likely damaged the plane's engines, reducing its power and making it difficult to execute a safe landing. Another key issue is the failure to deploy the landing gear during the second landing attempt. Was this a result of pilot error, mechanical failure, or a combination of both? Aviation journalist Andreas Spitt has suggested that the immense pressure on the pilots may have led to mistakes. Alternatively, the bird strike could have damaged the plane's hydraulic systems, making it impossible to deploy the landing gear. Finally, there's the question of runway safety. At Muan International Airport, the overrun area, the space beyond the runway, was insufficient to safely accommodate a plane in distress. This has raised concerns about the airport's compliance with international safety standards. The flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder are expected to provide vital clues about what went wrong. These devices capture information about the plane's speed, altitude, engine performance, and the pilot's conversations. Investigators will analyze this data to determine 1. The extent of the damage caused by the bird strike. 2. Whether the engines were functioning properly during the second landing attempt. 3. Why the landing gear wasn't deployed. 4. The actions and decisions of the flight crew in the moments leading up to the crash. While these findings will shed light on the technical aspects of the disaster, it's important to remember that such investigations take time. It could be months or even years before we have a complete picture of what happened. South Korea is reeling from this tragedy. The crash has not only claimed lives, but also left a deep emotional scar on the nation. A week of national mourning has been declared, and memorials are being held across the country. The acting president, Cho Sang-mok, has promised to mobilize all available resources to support the victims' families. This disaster has also reignited discussions about aviation safety and the need for stricter regulations to prevent similar incidents in the future. Every aviation disaster offers lessons that can help improve safety standards. In this case, several issues need to be addressed. 1. Bird strike mitigation. Airports need better systems to detect and deter birds, especially near runways. Technologies like radar and bioacoustic deterrence could help reduce the risk of bird strikes. 2. Runway safety. Airports should ensure that overrun areas meet international safety standards. Installing engineered materials that can absorb the impact of a plane can prevent catastrophic outcomes. 3. Pilot training. Pilots must be trained to handle high-pressure situations, including emergencies like engine failures and bird strikes. Simulators that replicate these scenarios can help prepare them for real-life challenges. 4. Aircraft design. Manufacturers could explore ways to make planes more resilient to bird strikes, such as reinforced engines and hydraulic systems. This tragic event serves as a grim reminder of the risks associated with air travel. While aviation is still one of the safest modes of transportation, disasters like this highlight the importance of continuous improvement in safety standards. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families. As the investigation continues, we hope that the findings will lead to changes that prevent future tragedies. Thank you for watching this video and taking the time to learn about this heartbreaking story. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage of important topics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think could have been done differently to prevent this disaster? Let's have a discussion. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.